Hi, and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom, and we are going to be talking about the movie Howl, which is a 2015 werewolf movie just in time for Halloween. So this one is directed by Paul Hyatt and stars Ed Speelers. If that name sounds familiar to you, you may have seen the movie Aragon. Remember that? The franchise that never was. Anyway, here he is in a werewolf film, and let's talk about the premise of this film. I think one of the key things for this film is the very simple premise, which is both good and a detriment. It basically focuses on a late night train where Ed Speelers' character Joe is essentially the guard. Him, a couple of co-workers and a few passengers basically get stranded in a remote woodland area around midnight. And there seems to be some kind of creature outside. Of course, if you can look at the title here, you can pretty much guess it's going to be a werewolf. And basically, it's a story of these kind of survivors, if you like. First of all, finding out what's going on, and then devising a plan to survive it, maybe even fight back. We don't know how many werewolves there are, of course, or if there is more than one. But all will be revealed as you watch the movie. So let's talk about some of the positives and negatives in Howl. So first of all, I think it is a simple film, but it makes it kind of a punchy. It's a simple premise, but it does what you pretty much expect. I think if you see the trailer here, you know exactly what to expect. This is actually one of my most anticipated films of this year in regards to the kind of the lower budget side of things, and it did deliver on what it promised me, but it didn't kind of go beyond that, if that makes sense. So first of all, I think the acting is very good here across the board. There's not any kind of a duff acting. I think maybe the script's a little weak, but I'll come on again to that. But overall, the acting was all good. Basically, we kind of get to know our sort of primary group of characters, and each one of them has got their own sort of personality trait as we kind of get to know them a little bit throughout the movie. The effects here, I think, are pretty decent. Again, I'll kind of touch on it again. What I thought about this film, and one thing I would say did surprise me, is the amount of practical effects they used. So I thought this was going to be more CGI here than it actually was. And although they do use some CGI effects, actually they use quite a lot of practical effects here, and it really does show, how well these kind of practical effects can work. But they kind of do use CGI as well, but I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. But yeah, I think the effects overall pretty good. The gore, actually, I have to say, is, although it's not excessively gory, the gore that we do see on screen is effective and I think is realistic looking. The wounds are pretty realistic. The blood, it kind of acts like it should, if that makes sense. No CGI blood as far as I can tell, first of all, here, folks. So there's a massive plus, which is kind of a bit of a bugbear of mine, the old CGI blood. So the production value as well, it's all pretty good. It's a sort of a polished feel. It's an enjoyable, fun film. Some of these horror films can be a little bit of a chore to sit through. This one, I was engaged. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the characters. I was enjoying the story that's kind of unfolded, because it's a simple story, but it's an enjoyable one at that. So definitely some good pluses here. On the negative side, I do have a couple. The main one for me is the script, and that is partly because because the plot is so basic, it really doesn't kind of go beyond your expectations about this movie. So nothing here really is going to surprise you. It does really fall into some of these kind of these genre cliches that you're going to expect. Everything down from the kind of the typical beats in the film, down to the typical array of characters that we had before us, and they all act exactly how you think they're going to react. So, in the kind of post Cabin in the Woods, I thought maybe we would kind of move past some of these kind of stereotypes, but alas, that is the way that my main issue with this one. Touching on the effects again, I have to say, although I enjoyed the effects, I do feel some people may be a little bit feel shortchanged with some of the werewolf effects. They're a kind of a different sort of style of werewolf to what we typically see in the majority of these films. They're kind of certainly more humanoid than the majority of them, but certainly bestial looking. The first time you see it kind of in full light, I feel it maybe revealed itself a little bit too much. I preferred maybe if it kept itself somewhat in darkness, so we can't quite see what's going on until a little bit later on. Because I think the first shot, the kind of the full beasts, is a little bit weak, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, that's going to be more of a taste thing. I actually quite enjoyed it. Once you kind of get through the movie, you'll basically see these things, and you kind of get used to them, and you kind of appreciate the look that they have for them. But overall, it was, it's not a particularly long film. It's quite punchy. It did the job to me. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I actually quite enjoyed it, and I would recommend this film. It's certainly miles better than a lot of these kind of low-budget horror werewolf films that we've kind of seen in recent years. Just a little bit cliche on the cliche side, and I think some people may have a couple of problems with the werewolf designs, but there you go. But overall, a decent package. Check this one out for Halloween. Leave me know if you've seen it. Leave me a comment, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.